Johnny Forquat, Larry Meads, and Jerry Kaufman. And now I can't see anything. We also have Michelle Chavez and Kaylee Nunez, recording secretaries. We have to have two now. Are we that important? Planning and zoning staff members, Michelle as community development coordinator, Kaylee Nunez, administrator specialist, George Worley, planning manager, Bryn Stotler, community development director, Tammy DeWitt, community planner, and Matt's not here. This is an open public hearing and is being taped, recorded, and videotaped by the city. The proceedings are being televised by representatives of the public media, the public, local cable, and/or radio stations, and may also be rebroadcast. The number of board members here is 4, and will require 3 votes to pass. We do have a quorum. It takes 4, because, yeah, all right, takes 4 votes for a majority. All parties wishing to be heard on an issue are required to raise their hand and be recognized by the chairman prior to speaking. Speakers will be expected to state their name and address for the record so that we may know who is speaking and be able to contact them at a later date if necessary. And please turn off your cell phones or electric devices if you haven't already done so. Sign the attendance roster before leaving the meeting so that we may contact you if necessary. The first item is the approval of minutes for the November 21st, 2019 meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any comments or corrections? All in favor? The motion carries 4-0. The public hearing item today is the variance 19004, variance Article 3, Section 3.4.3, single family 18 minimum setbacks of the Land Development Code, to allow a reduction in required 15-foot rear yard setback by 7 feet to allow for a rear setback 8 feet to accommodate the construction of a covered patio. Property owner is J. Doran Greenberg, and the location is at 1520 Cougar Trail, Prescott, Arizona. You're on, Tammy.
Thank you. Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. Tammy DeWitt, Community Planner. So subject property is located in the Hidden Valley Ranch subdivision, which is platted as a planned area development. Right here is the subject property. As you can see, we do have patio homes here, townhomes with 0 setbacks. The idea with a PAD is that they can reduce the lot size requirements and the setback requirements. In regards to this subdivision, when they platted it, they established 0 foot front setbacks and 15-foot rear setbacks. So I just wanted to point that out. We do have some houses here that have a 0 foot front setback, but they didn't maintain the 15-foot rear setback on many of them. So the application in front of you today is a variance to reduce the 15-foot rear setback by 16 feet 9. To 25-foot rear setback by 16 feet 9 inches to allow for an 8-foot 3-foot setback. So basically, this is the area in questions. We do have a patio here existing. See how well that would come in. Which is this area right here. It's an existing patio that the applicant would like to put a cover over. This is one of the accesses out of the house. And in the wintertime, it's very hard for her to maintain that area. So the covered patio will allow for a little bit easier to maintain and to protect that area of the house.
Ms. DeWitt,
Yes.
I'm looking at the lot on Cougar Trail that's just south of this subject home.
This one right here?
No, the one that faces Cougar Trail, that one there. Does that have the minimum setback?
It appears to, because they would have I can't tell right here where the rear is right here, but it looks like it would be a 15-foot rear, and they'd have a 0-foot front setback here.
In looking at this sketch here, it gives me the impression it may be less
And it could possibly be, the HOA did state to the applicant that they have allowed for reductions in the past. I did not look up and see if there were other variances in the area, because each application is looked on a case-by-case basis. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Here's the site plan that shows, here's the existing patio, and here's where she would like to encroach into the rear setback right there. As stated with this subdivision, they do allow 0-foot front setback. This is the front of the property from Cougar Trail. As you can see from the terrain, she wouldn't be able to move the house up as it was developed, so it is set back on the property. Across the street is open space, which is vacant. This is a view looking from Cougar Trail down here up the driveway. It is a shared driveway for 3 homes, and this is the subject property over here. Sticking. Here's a view. This is the subject property here, the back of the property, and this is the adjacent house to the east.
To the east?
So this is in the back of the property, yes. This is the adjacent property to the south, and this is the area of encroachment that she would like to put. There is also a little string right here. This is the property boundary right here. So this kind of shows you how far it would be from the property, back property. This is the south side of the house, and this is the area, the start of the patio here. So here's a view. This is the patio in question that the applicant would like to have covered. And the rear property line is right here. There's a little string right here that was delineating the rear property line. And here's another picture from the driveway looking to where it would come out here. And this is the main access to the house, the front door, which she's also looking to getting a cover over this, but that doesn't require any variances. So we have gotten one letter that was in your packet from an anonymous resident in the area. We're not sure where it came from, but we have not received any other letters from any neighbors out there. The HOA, they are commenting that they will have to still go through them for approval for any design. At this time, no plans have been constructed until they know they have the variance. So that concludes my presentation. I'm free to answer any questions.
Any of the members have questions?
She's just trying to build cover, right?
Correct, just over an existing patio, yep.
Please use your microphone.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, she's just trying to,
Yes,
oh, it's on? Okay, I never needed a mic. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that in my mind. And,
yes. It's not going to be enclosed, it's just a covered patio.
Okay, that's all.
And before I ask if the applicant or their representatives here, I apologize to Mr. Shishka. I forgot to state that he was attending today, so I didn't want you to go on your vacation with, bad feelings. Is the applicant or their representatives here?
Yes, the applicant is here.
Would you like to?
Good morning.
Good morning. Name?
J.D. Greenberg, 1520 Cougar Trail.
Do any of the members have questions?
Well, I just want to say that you understand that whatever action we might take is separate, distinctly separate from whatever the HOA may decide on this issue. And if we were to approve it, it's not necessarily an endorsement of your plan.
I understand that. It was whoever drew the property lines for this development, it was like they intentionally tried to get neighbors, confused as to where the property lines are. And my house was built like at an angle. And it was the first house there. The other the other three houses were subsequently built. And I had no idea of, when I had the patio, concrete patio built, I think there was some confusion by the architectural committee at that time, because my front door, the front of my house was considered where the front door was. But I have subsequently learned that the front is street side. So way back when, and it's been many years since I built the concrete patio, I thought I had an 8-foot setback on that side. So I very, very diligently made sure that I only came out, the 12 feet, and that I had the 8-foot. And now, as I get ready to ask to have the roof extended, I'm finding out I have a 15-foot, and it's 15 feet on one side of where the patio is, but then the distance is reduced down on the other side. And what I'm looking to do is there'll be no change in the roof line on the sides. I just want to extend it out. There's a 2-foot overhang now, and I just want to extend it out 10 feet more so that the entire 12 feet of the patio is covered. About a year ago, they allowed me to cover my front patio, and it has it's been such a blessing. It's one less place I have to shovel. It gives, I no longer have to cover everything with tarps for the winter, and even at 15 feet out on that one, I still get some blow in. So that's why I'm looking at the full 12 feet, because I recognize that with the elements, especially since it's not going to be enclosed, that there's still going to be some blow in. But I'm hoping that one of the reasons that I'd like to have it covered is that my neighbor to the northeast, they look right down on my patio, and right now it's covered in tarps. And when you cover things in your patio in tarps, I'm sure some of you know that what happens is then you get little critters that like to make homes under it. So, but the main thing that that's kind of a secondary benefit, but one of the things that happens is when it snows and I can't get out to shovel there, because my first priority is to get at least part of my driveway shoveled so I can get out in an emergency. But I spend a lot of time in the back room there. That's where I watch television, and it has French doors that go out to that patio. And when it snows, I'm no longer able to get out there, and God forbid something should happen that I need to get out of there in an emergency, and there's snow buildup up there. It's a safety issue. So that's, I think, again, the roof would be what they would do what they did last year, which is to cut into the existing hip roof and then bring the slope out, and it would be just a continuation of the existing angle and covered with the same materials, or as close to as we can get.
Okay.
Are there any
Mr.
questions?
Chairman, yeah, for Ms. DeWitt, I've heard some different numbers besides what's written down here. Is this a 25-foot setback or 15-foot setback requirement?
So in the legal ad, it was a 15-foot, but that's what it's supposed to be. And I apologize. I just realized that when none of us caught it, that I put 25 foot in the verbiage, but in the agenda item and in the legal ad, it was a 15-foot rear setback, and to reduce that. So that's correct. It's a 15-foot. Sorry
Okay.
about that.
All right.
I also wanted to just mention that the roof extension would require 3 upright supports, and those would be at approximately 10 feet out from my house, and it would be in line with the existing walls of the house. So it's not going, the footprint will be exactly the concrete patio. It would not encroach any further than what has been encroached now. Because I'm leaving it open, there would not be any any detriment to the view for any of my neighbors, except now they'll just see my roof and those 3 posts. And I understand that, I understand the process. It was interesting because I did have 2 members of the architectural committee come out and kind of talk to them about what I hope to do. And I've been working with Steve Simpson from Blue Line Designs. But just as an afterthought, I wound up coming down here because I didn't want to get all my plans drawn up, go through the architectural committee, have them approve it, and then come down here for my building permit and find out, oh, I violated the setback. So I was advised to go through the process of first seeing if I can get the variance, and then I will have the permanent plans drawn up. Those will be submitted to the architectural committee for approval, and then I will come back down to the city and get my building permit.
Okay, thank you.
Anything
Anybody
else?
else that wishes to speak or address the committee?
Hello there, I'm Jeff Phillips. I live at 1510 Cougar Trail, so I'm the property behind. If you could put up, I guess, the plot again. Yeah, the sketch. Yeah, if you could, thank you. So it's a little hard for me to make a judgment call when I look at this plot plan. We haven't seen an elevation, but if you compare that to the existing plot plan, you'll see that it's not simply adding a patio. She's going to change the pitch of the roof up to the crest there, is what that appears to be. So the roof going out, that hip roof, is going to have a different pitch than the rest of the house. And also, this puts the corner posts outside of the concrete, and actually there's you may have noticed there's a drainage area there, and I'm not sure where those posts would lay with respect to all those rocks that kind of form that drainage. So I'm having a little trouble understanding what is the intention here. I mean, how it's going to be constructed. And so that is my concern. And one of the photos, that one right there, you can see that the posts are going to be outside of the existing patio, and there you can see there's some rock walls and stuff, and I just have a little trouble understanding how that's going to look. So I think that's pretty much my concern.
George, what we're deciding is whether they get the setback change. It's
Right.
not the design, or correct?
Correct.
Right.
It's just a
I understand
setback.
that.
Well, thank you.
They'll still have to go through the HOA to approve the architectural part of it.
And I think you can voice your opinion with the HOA, for the structural part of it. Anyone else wish to speak?
Good morning, Mr. Taters, board members. Mark Fredstrom. I live at 1500 Cougar Trail, so I am the neighbor directly to the north of Judy. I received the site plan in the mail down in Phoenix last week, which is where I reside this time of the year. And based on that drawing, I wasn't real clear what was happening with that roof. Whether it's an extension of the hip, whether it's a shed. Obviously, if it's a shed roof, it wouldn't tie in with the structure. And by the drawing, I really can't tell what it is. I understand you don't need full drawings, but the concern would be, what does it really look like? And another question I had is there any possibility of closure, or does it have to maintain total openness on 3 sides?
Well, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, George, once we approve the setback and they design, if the homeowners approve the roof, then it would then go to them again if it wants to be enclosed at some future point.
It would have to come back before this board, because right now it's just for an open covered patio.
Right.
If at any time you want to enclose it, include it as habitable space, that changes the request. So she'd have to come back before this body.
Is there a possibility of screening method, for instance, say a trellis or a landscape fabric or pull-down screen?
She
Because
would
one
be,
of the concerns is if everything that is in front of the house is going to go under it, it's still visible, it would be better protected, and we really wouldn't have to see the items that are in front of the house at this time.
If the applicant chooses to put some retractable, those don't, that's not enclosing the space, so that'd be okay.
Okay, all right, thank you.
That would be okay to the extent they wouldn't have to come back to the board and.
Correct. If they wanted to enclose it permanently, then that would have to come, because now you're changing it from just a covered patio to part of the house. Becomes habitable space.
So would a lattice or fabric, either one, be
That'd be fine.
be okay? All right,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? I would entertain a motion.
Well, we've been pretty liberal with setback requests, so I'll make a motion to approve this request for the change to the setback from 15 feet to 7 feet.
We have a second.
For 8 feet, 8 feet.
8 feet, excuse me. Thank you.
Second by Johnny. Any other comments? All in favor? Aye. The motion carries 4-0.
Next motion. Adjourn.
Did you have a question, Chair?
No, I was looking for my hammer. Not that I'm building your cover. I have to.
Come down. Not
This meeting is adjourned.